So this video is going to be about the time that I almost went to jail. I know you see literally every other YouTube talk about how they almost went to jail, almost got arrested, like blah blah blah. So I'm thinking this is unoriginal content, just one of these is the X. I think I'm gonna make a series about college and stories I have from my college, because there are a lot and a lot of crazy ones, and I don't know, I think they're worth telling. So here's the first one. So we have a lot of clubs in our school. We're really a club and sports oriented school. So there was a club fair that I went to, and there was a club called Fashion Club, and I've always been interested in like makeup, hair, fashion, anything like that. So I was like, yeah, of course. And so I modeled for them, and that was a lot of fun. And we had a fall show, and we had like 2,000 people show up. It was awesome. It was a great show, great experience, and I highly recommend you to join a club, whatever interests you. There's literally clubs for everything. My roommate runs like a car club at my school, and it's just a really cool way to make friends too. I met some of my best friends through that, so that's a positive thing. Yeah. So we had this party to like celebrate the fashion show, and then we invited maybe 200 people tops, which was kind of a lot. I mean, one of the guys in the club was throwing this party, and yeah, so my job for the party was to hire the bouncer. Also, excuse this nail, it literally just fell off before the video. Like, I have it. It's behind the camera. Anyways. I'm excited about it. Okay, so I hired this bouncer. He was like this big football player. Let's call him Adam, okay? I don't even know Adam. So Adam was known in our school as kind of like a big, muscly guy, kind of intense, you know, a little bit scary. So it was like perfect. He was going to be making probably like $200 that night, which was pretty good. We just wanted to make sure that the party was safe for everyone. There wasn't any problems. You know, we wanted a good party. So the fashion show ends like an hour after we were supposed to, and it's like 11 at this point, 11:30 maybe. It was supposed to end at 10. And so we got to the party, and there was already about 200 people there, and the bouncer wasn't even there yet. He was like an hour late, and literally this house was like off of our campus. So this house was literally off of our campus, like 2 minutes. Like, it did not, and he lived on campus, so it wasn't like it took him a drive. It wasn't, you know, like he got stuck in traffic. And so there was already about 200 people in this house, and we barely knew anyone there. So we're like, how did these people find out? And I guess it was a big thing, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like whatever. Everyone knew about this party. So I'm like telling him, like, do not let anyone in unless they know a name of, you know, unless they have a name of one of the models, and like they tell them that they know them, and then you go talk to the model. Like, don't let anyone in, because we can't have, it's a kind of a residential area as well. I mean, there are like elderly people living around there and stuff, so we didn't want to like disturb them. It was a Thursday night. Most people have work on Friday, whatever. So we get there, and I'm like, please make sure not to let a lot of people in. And one of my good friends calls me, and she's like, hey, is this the address to the place? And I'm like, yeah. Like, she repeats it back to me and everything. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, are you having any issues? Like, there are cops outside. And I'm like,
no, there's not. There's not cops. I'm in the party. Like, I don't hear anything.
And so she's like, she repeats the address back, and I'm like, you must have the wrong house. Like, literally, I hang up the phone. A minute later, the cops are knocking on the door, literally busting this basement door open. This was literally like a week after I turned 18, and I could actually get in trouble for something, and like it would be on my record. So I was freaking out, and I'm normally like a good kid. Like, I don't really do much. I've never been to jail. I never got in legal trouble. So I was freaking out, and I was with my 3 good friends at the time, and they're like, whatever you do, don't give them your ID. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not drinking. There's not any drinks around me. Like, I wasn't smoking or anything. Like, I was good. I wasn't doing anything illegal. Now here is where it's a lesson time, kids. listen to your friends. Not always. I mean, sometimes you get like peer pressure to do bad stuff. But like this time, I should have listened to them. So basically, should have listened to my friends. So he asks for ID, the cop, and I give him my student ID because I don't have my actual license on me. Now in my head, I'm like, he can't really do anything with a student ID. Like maybe he just wanted to get names or something like that. My dumbass, my stupid freshman dumbass. I give him my ID and he asks for my friends' IDs who like I'm with, and they all say we don't have them. And I'm like looking at them like, did you just lie to a cop? And like I was freaking out. And so the cop walks away and they're like, why would you give him your ID? Like he's gonna get you in trouble. And I like walked away from them like I was so mad. And so a half an hour goes by and the cop, I mean, the reason I gave him the ID was because he was saying, I'm not letting anyone go out of this party until I get everyone's ID. And there was like 5 cops. So I was like, they're gonna get everyone's ID. Like, I wanna go home. Like, I just want this night to be over. Wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, not doing anything wrong. So I go up to the cop and I'm like, could I have my ID back? Because he was starting to let people go. I mean, even these like drunk, belligerent people who were literally underage, and like that's what he was trying to get everyone in trouble for. Underage. And all just lets them go because they all lie and be like, oh, I don't have my ID. Like, who doesn't have their ID on them? Always. So I'm like, hey, could I have my ID back? Like, I just want to go home, whatever. And he's like, yeah, after we give you your ticket. Ticket from what? Like, what did I do? So I'm like, and all my friends just like look at me, like nod their, like shake their head, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to jail. So I'm like fighting with him, I mean like respectfully, and I'm like, listen, I wasn't drinking, like you could do a breathalyzer on me, I didn't have a drink around me or in me. And he goes, well, because there was alcohol in the house and you're under 21, you're gonna get a possession of alcohol ticket. I literally didn't even have a cup of like water in my hand, like nothing. I had just gotten to the party and I'm like, oh my god, my mom's gonna kill me. And it was November, it was freezing because I live in Connecticut, so it was so cold. It was like 30 degrees and I'm just sitting in the corner of like the road crying, and I'm getting my possession of alcohol ticket, and it's like, you can either pay $140 and it's on your record for life, or you can go to court and dispute it. So obviously I'm gonna do that because I wasn't drinking. My court date was set for March? Yeah, March. So this is like 5-6 months afterwards. So I still have this in my brain the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a situation that was over easily, nothing like that. Like, it was dragged on situation. So now I'm just like, what am I gonna do? So I tell my mom, like, explain the whole situation, because I've never been to court before, so I had her go with me. And I sit down with the prosecutor, and it's this pregnant woman, and I'm like, oh, she's either gonna be really nice or really rude. So I tried explaining my story, and she goes, okay, you can do 30 hours of community service. See, I wouldn't mind community service, but I didn't have the time. Like, I worked 3 jobs, I was going to school, like, I really did not have the time. And so then they set up a court date for June. Now this is another like 4 or 5 months later. And I call them the day before I'm supposed to like give in my community service, and I'm like, listen, I really didn't have time to do community service. Is there any other like thing we can do? So she's like, well, you can either come in tomorrow and talk to another prosecutor, or do your community service. So I come in the next morning, like 7 in the morning, and I'm talking to this prosecutor, and she's this really cool looking like 60-year-old woman maybe, and she goes, okay, tell me what happened. So I told her the whole entire story, and she literally just laughed. She's like, yeah, sometimes college cops can be difficult. And she goes, well, you can just pay $40 to a donation and everything will be good. I'm like, this is not gonna be on my record? Like, really? And I was so happy. But I was also so mad because it was literally, this was on my mind for like 8 months, and it was just annoying to kind of have to deal with when nothing was my fault. So now it's almost been a year since then, and my problems have just ended with that whole situation. So I highly suggest just watch Netflix in college. Like, don't go to parties. But if you do, always be safe. You know, don't drink and drive. Uber is a great thing. I mean, I know you might not want to spend the money, but and always be careful and be smart, especially dealing with cops. And dealing with other people. So if you're new to college, or even if it's your second or third or fourth year, just be safe no matter what. But I hope you guys learned something from this and enjoyed the video. And if you want more college stories, let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.